Hi everybody, welcome to Karen Sizzle and Spice. Welcome to my kitchen. Ed, are you ready? Let's get this one going.
All right.
How you doing, hon? Love you. Mwah.
Love you.
You know, some of you guys have asked me about Ed's and my story. Before I did these YouTube videos, I was a writer. I still am a writer, but I'm focusing on my YouTube channel now. And I wrote a couple of books about Ed and I. If you're interested, this one's called Words to Love By. It's how Eddie and I met. It was really so romantic. We just met each other a few years ago. Ed was from New York. I was from the Chicago area. It's really a romantic story. And I wrote a second book called Dark Secrets No More. This was about my life before Ed. I'll put the links for these books underneath the description of my video in case any of you are interested. So let's get going on this video. You got to get to work here, huh?
Okay.
Let's see. You know, I wanted to tell you guys just a little bit more about why I wrote. I didn't even know that I was a writer until I was inspired by the love affair that happened between Ed and I. It was like a fairy tale, honestly. All the details are in this book. That's the reason why I wrote it, because I thought as I get older, I don't want to forget a single detail. And once I had written this book, so many people were interested in what my life was like before Eddie. That's when I decided to write Dark Secrets No More. So grab yourselves a copy. It's on Kindle or paperback right on Amazon. So today I'm going to make a pork tenderloin. Pork tenderloin is just delicious if you've never had it. It's so tender and it's so lean that it's low in fat as well, which is great. So what I'm going to actually make today is a pork tenderloin with raspberry Dijon sauce. Does that sound fantastic or what? Now this raspberry Dijon sauce also tastes fantastic on chicken. I've made it before. It's just delicious. All we're going to need today is a pork tenderloin. This is about 1.5 pounds. I'm going to use some red raspberry preserves. I'm going to use some Dijon mustard, a little bit of chicken broth. I'll be using Montreal steak seasoning. I use this on almost all meats that I prepare because I love it. I'm going to use extra pepper probably because the pepper mixed with the raspberry sweetness is kind of a fantastic contradiction. I'm going to use a little bit of butter, and we'll be using some garlic. So let's get this one going. So you know, it's funny, I say sometimes on camera that my cooking normally goes very, very smoothly unless I'm on camera. Things are always different when I'm on camera. I have made pork tenderloin hundreds of times, and never have I ever opened a package of the pork tenderloin and look, it's 2 pieces. Which just cracks me up because it never happens unless I'm on camera, but that's okay. It doesn't make any difference. I'm going to be slicing this pork tenderloin anyway. So come a little bit closer, Eddie. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to take some garlic cloves and I'm going to plant them right inside this pork tenderloin because don't know about you guys, but I adore garlic. And in roasts, pork tenderloin or a beef roast, I love to take the garlic clove and to cut it in small pieces. And then I'll show you how I'm gonna poke it right into the meat. Let me show you here. Okay. Come on over, Ed. I want them to see how small I'm gonna slice this. And sometimes some people love the pieces of garlic when they're eating, so it's kind of like a bonus. Some of these are a little big. This is a fantastic way to infuse more flavor. You just take your knife like that, poke it, and push that garlic right in. I'll put a few pieces in each half here. There, just kind of sink it right in there. Ooh, the smell of that garlic. Can you smell that, Eddie?
Yes.
Smells fantastic. And then if you don't like the big pieces of the garlic, when you take a bite, you just take these out, but they're infusing this fantastic, fantastic flavor into the pork. Okay, so I got like 3 pieces of garlic in each half here. And then next, I'm going to sprinkle these liberally with this Montreal steak seasoning. You've seen me use this before. I love this stuff. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sear this pork tenderloin, and then we'll finish it off in the oven. I'm using my pan that's kind of a cross between cast iron and a stainless pan. It's a pretty heavy pan. I love this one for making roast or pork in the oven, or even a filet mignon. I'll make it in here and pop it in the oven. But I got my pan good and hot here. I'm gonna put in about a good tablespoon of butter. Woo, I love the sizzle. Love it. And so does the pork. Now I'm gonna take both of these. You can see those garlic pieces in there. And put it right down into the pan. Yeah, I love that sizzle. Oh yeah. Now we're gonna let this sear nice and hard, nice brown crust, and then we'll flip it over. I'll be right back. This pork tenderloin's looking fantastic. I've had it on a medium heat for about maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Let's take a look at how it looks close up here and see if it's nice. And oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful. I'm going to turn that over. This pork tenderloin is really so easy to cook. This is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to add another tablespoon of butter. And I'm going to add a little bit of chicken broth. Come closer, Ed. I love the sizzle. Watch this. Woo-hoo! Look at that. Oh, yeah. That's going to be the base of my gravy. Look at that. It's just gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to turn this off, and it's going to go right into a 375-degree oven. This may only take about 20 minutes. I need to check it in a little while with a thermometer. The internal temperature should be about 160 when I take it out, because I'm going to let it rest for a while I work on that fantastic sauce, and it will continue to cook as it's sitting there. So we'll check it in about 15 minutes. Pork tenderloin really doesn't take long. The rule of thumb with pork is about 20 minutes per pound. This has been in for 20 minutes, and I think it's the perfect temperature. Let's get it on the stove top. Come a little closer, Ed. And right away, I have burnt myself many times. Right away, you want to put on your handle guard. Just like that. That red thing reminds me, don't go near it, because these pans stay hot for a long time. Now take a look closer here, Ed, and see how that gravy's in there. That's going to be the base of my gravy. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pork tenderloin out of here, and I'm going to let it rest on a plate here, and it will continue to cook a little bit. So I'm going to put this out here, and I'm going to cover it with foil. This will continue to cook. The next step will be the gravy, but before I do that, you did see me using this thermometer. It's so important when you're making meats and roasts that you have a meat thermometer that's accurate. This one I've had for quite a while. It's perfect, very accurate. I will leave the link for this on the description of this video. And next step will be the gravy. I've got this gravy that was already in the pan from the drippings and the chicken broth that I started this with. I have it a little bit less than a medium heat. It's come to a bubble, and come closer. This is what I'm going to add to make this fantastic gravy now. I found some red raspberry seedless jam in my refrigerator, so from the last time I made this, so I'm going to use this first. I mean, if you don't mind the seeds, you can use the seeds as well. So we're going to use about a half a cup of raspberry jam. It's going to melt into a beautiful gravy. We're going to add about 1 teaspoon to start of Dijon, and then I'm going to taste this to tweak. Just going to mix this up. Ooh, that looks wonderful. You give it just a couple of minutes to heat up here, and then I'm gonna give it a taste. I'm just whisking this until it's nice and smooth. Look at that bubbly action. I love that. Now I only put in 1 teaspoon of Dijon so far, so I'm gonna give it a taste and see if I want any more in there. And you gotta taste this to tweak, you guys. You gotta make it your own. Make it the way you like it. Let me see how this tastes. Ooh. Whoa, that's good. But you know what? I am gonna add a little bit more Dijon. And remember I said before that I was gonna add a little pepper? Pepper, because this is sweet, the pepper is very contradictory and it's gonna add more flavor and contrast in this gravy. I'm gonna give it some pepper. And I'm gonna continue to whisk it for a couple more minutes. We'll be right back. So this gravy is nice and mixed now. We're gonna let it simmer here for a couple of minutes, and then what you can do is you can slice that pork tenderloin and slide it right into that gravy and let it all the flavors marry. I'm not gonna do that right now because we're gonna eat this pork tenderloin later for dinner. And when I do that, when I'm gonna reheat a pork tenderloin sliced, I like to take the gravy separately from the meat and heat up that gravy boiling hot and then pour it right over your sliced pork tenderloin to help warm it up. This way you're not overcooking your pork tenderloin. There's nothing worse than when you have pork tenderloin that's curling up on the edges because it's all dried out and rubbery. No good. Pork tenderloin is so tender, you want to keep it that way. We'll be right back. Woo, that looks good. Can't wait to dip. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but you know, like I said, things always happen on camera. This pork tenderloin, when I put it in the oven, almost looks like chicken breasts. It's kind of funny the way it flattened out. Normally they're round like a log and I just slice them across. This time I'm gonna slice it on the bias to get as thin a cut as I can. So I wanna be sure my knife is very sharp. So I'm just gonna give this a few swipes on my knife sharpener here. And come close now, Eddie. I want to show you how beautiful this looks. Once you've let it rest for a little while, look at the gravy on the plate. Look at how beautiful that is. So I'm just gonna take one of these right now and I'm gonna cut it on the bias. Let's see, I wanna do it this way. Nice thin slices. Oh yeah, you can see the garlic in there. Get close there, Eddie. Do you see that? Look at the garlic. Ooh, it's beautiful. Let me grab this. Maybe I can do this easier this way. There we go. Look at how gorgeous. Oh my God, can you smell that, Eddie? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, that smells wonderful. Actually, I think I'm gonna cut it this way a little bit. Yeah, that's even nicer. Oh, this is gonna be so tender. We're gonna dip these little nuggets into that fantastic raspberry Dijon gravy. It's our favorite time.
Sure is.
Mwah, taste testing time. For dinner later on, I'm gonna serve this pork tenderloin with that gravy over noodles with a vegetable. But for now, we can't wait. So we're gonna just have to taste it here. So I've got the gravy right here. He's my official taste tester. Go ahead and try it. Let's see how that gravy is. Ooh, it's nice and thick. Oh, oh my. That pork tenderloin, it could melt in your mouth. You hardly even have to chew it.
I am tasting the raspberry, the Dijon mustard, the garlic. Oh my God. The only downside for this, for me, is I have to wait 6 hours for dinner. That's the only bad thing.
It'll be here before you know it, hon.
I hope so.
You guys, you gotta try this one, and remember, this raspberry Dijon sauce is also terrific on chicken. Thanks so much for visiting my channel today. Make sure you click on subscribe and share my videos because you know, if you like them, your friends are gonna like them too. So we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.